So far in this video series, we've been very focused on the Terran race and all of their different game mechanics and how they work. Today we're going to be looking at Zerg, and I'm going to highlight some key differences between the way that Terran works and the way that Zerg works. So the first of these is the way that we actually produce units. So with the Terran example, we have all these different technological structures that then produce different units. We saw barracks and factories and starports, to name a few. And they each have different units that they can produce. But for Zerg, every single unit that we make is going to be morphed out of these larvae. And we see them here right beneath our main base structure, the hatchery. These are the larvae. We have 6 right now. So let's say that we want to make a few Zerglings. Well, we select our larva and we say, make me some Zerglings. Now note, this spawning pool, this is the structure that is allowing me to turn my larva into those Zerglings, but it isn't producing them. They're right here in these cocoons, and they're about to turn into Zerglings. If we want to be able to make different Zerg units, like for example, roaches, we need to make a roach warren. Now, again, that roach warren won't be the structure actually producing them, but it will allow us to turn our larvae into roaches. So let's go ahead and do that now, which brings us to our next point. Zerg, unlike the Terran, can't just build their structures any old place on the map that they want. It won't allow us to place this. We have to place it on this icky purple stuff, which is called creep. Now, third difference. Where the heck did my worker go? I had a drone, I said, please make this roach warren, now it's gone! That is because, unlike the Terran SCVs, which get in there, you know, with like a wrench and a hammer, and they're banging on the building, and they're making it, and there's the scaffolding and stuff, and then the scaffolding goes away, and you have a bright, shiny new building. That's not how the Zerg operate. The Zerg take a drone, and they straight up just morph it into a building. The drone goes away, and now you've got a new thing. So, kind of a big difference. The Zerg actually lose a worker every time they want to create a structure. So, how do we spread this creep around the map? Because as you can see, we've only got like a little puddle of it in a big circle around our spawning location where we start on the map. And eventually we're going to run out of room here, right? So we spread our creep with these things called creep tumors. Basically, each of these supports a little bit more creep that kind of surrounds the base. And it has an ability which allows you to make another creep tumor. So it kind of snakes out this gross little tendril, and another creep tumor forms, and we'll see in a moment here, the creep is going to, well, start to creep down this way and expand across the map. Now this, to me, is one of the most evocative and cool things in StarCraft, because you can kind of really see when a Zerg player is taking over the map, they're like just slowly expanding all over the different corners of the map. And you can even see it on the mini-map here. This big patch of purple, which is taking over the kind of green and brown. So that kind of gives you an indication of just how far the Zerg have spread their dominion across the map. Now the last difference that I want to call out here is, you remember those little boxy square things, the supply depots that Terran have? The ones that increase the supply number up here. Well, Zerg obviously don't have those, so what do they have? We've got these things called overlords, and this functions in the exact same way. We have to make them in order to raise the supply number, but they're like a weird, gross flying thingy with these tentacles and stuff. So these are kind of cool because you can fly them all around the map, and you can get vision of different areas. They can kind of do a little bit of scouting for you. Whereas the Terran supply depots just kind of sit and be a building. So now that we have this roach warren done, we are able to morph our larvae into roaches, or Zerglings, or more workers, or a mix of them. And so this really gives Zerg a lot of versatility.